Welcome to the Bett Exhibitor Manual walkthrough. The new and improved Exhibitor Manual for 2026 is your guide to all the physical and logistical aspects of the show. It is a key resource for all exhibitors to make the most of your experience at Bett. Your digital presence at the show, Connect at Bett, is available to access through a separate platform. You'll receive an email closer to the show to set up your profile and get started with Connect at Bett. This guide will run through the Exhibitor Manual to help you find key information, show you the key steps to complete, and identify what you need to think about during your preparation for the show. So let's get started. Firstly, you can find your Exhibitor Manual by logging into the Exhibitor Zone. You should hold a username and password for this. If you do not, please contact us to get you set up. Log into the Exhibitor Zone, then click the Exhibitor Manual button, which will take you through to your Exhibitor Manual. On the home screen, you will find the information we hold for your stand. Please read this information carefully. If anything is incorrect, please contact us at this email address so we can update your information. If the details are incorrect but we are not informed, we cannot be held responsible for information appearing incorrectly on site, so make sure this is all present and correct. On our homepage, you will also find the menu navigation on the left and a search bar. The search bar, like any similar function, lets you search the whole site for what you need. You can search for anything by typing in the box and clicking search. For example, let's use electrics. Results will then display all sections that mention your searched word. You can then click on See Full Text and you will be taken to the section of the manual to read all the details. Next, we'll take you through the different sections of the navigation bar. Let's start with checklists and forms. Here you will find a list of tasks, forms and deadlines to help in your preparation for the event. The list is divided into compulsory and optional tasks and forms. Compulsory forms must be completed by all exhibitors, except the space-only form, which only needs to be completed by exhibitors with a space-only stand. Optional forms only need to be completed if you require those services, for example, catering, floral, or AV. Please take note of the dates shown in the due date column so you don't miss any deadlines. Late or on-site orders will incur surcharges, so you will have to pay much more once those deadlines have passed. Choices of items such as furniture, floral will also be limited, so make sure you don't miss out on what you want or need. To keep track of your approaching deadlines, you can arrange your checklist by due date by simply clicking on the title. Alternatively, to see which forms are due and in progress, click on Status to arrange by status and see which forms you have started, submitted, and still have to complete. To complete the forms and update the status, click on the form title. Let's use the health and safety form as an example. Here you will see a link to the form. Click this to open. Most forms will take you to a new page, but some, for example the risk assessment, will open as a PDF, which will include an email of where to send the form. Fill out all the details as required. After you've completed your form, don't forget to click Submit. You will not be able to submit the form until all of the fields are complete. If your form isn't fully complete, you can save your progress by clicking on the Save icon. Once you're back to the previous page, you will see the status of your form will have updated. If it is a PDF form, you will need to do this manually. Choose from the Your Status drop-down list so you or your colleagues can keep track of your progress. So that's our checklist done. Let's move on to the timetable. The timetable page shows all the dates and times you can access the halls for build, open, and breakdown. This information is key for you and your contractors to know when they can arrive on site. For example, on Sunday the 18th of January, access for space-only stands over 30 square metre begins. Then, on Tuesday the 20th of January, our shell scheme stands access starts. Please note all the dates and times here, as this will dictate your activity the week of the show. Next up, let's look at a new section for 2026. In this section, you'll find the Exhibitor Manual walkthrough video, along with the Exhibitor Guide, packed with top tips from the Bett team. It's a handy go-to whenever you need information about the show. New for 2026 is the Visit by GES tab, your go-to spot for everything related to the show's lead scanning tool. Here you'll find a setup walkthrough video along with a cheat sheet full of top tips and best practices to help you get the most out of the tool pre-show, on-site, and post-show. This section gives you all the information you should need when preparing your stand and activity at Bett. There are several options here, so let's explore. This provides information for all of our exhibitors and general details to brush up on during your preparation. This includes things such as our policies on children attending the show, details on build and breakdown, and late working. We then have sections for each of our exhibitor types, which will contain more detailed information depending on which type of stand you have. This includes shell scheme, space only, startups, and show ready. Let's take a look at shell scheme. This page shows you all the information you need for your shell scheme stand. For example, stand building within your shell scheme, electrics, and graphic dimensions. please read each section carefully. If you intend to build within your shell scheme, you will need to submit your build plans along with a risk assessment, method statement, and construction phase plan to Essential Events for them to approve. You can view build regulations in the space-only section, so let's explore the space-only section further. This is where our space-only exhibitors will find all the information needed for designing and building your stand on the floor space you have booked. Let's take a look at a few examples. Carpet. All space-only stands must supply and fit their own floor covering. Complex structures. It is the stand designer's responsibility to decide if a structure is complex or not. There are a few examples listed here. If your stand design is complex, it will need to be approved by our structural engineer, for which there is a charge. This fee includes the stand plans being checked and approved pre-show and on-site inspection throughout the build until it is complete. Our general space-only regulation section refers to your obligation under the Construction, Design and Management Regulation 2015, whereby the focus is to design construction projects to ensure that safety is at the forefront at every stage. There are details here of our stand plan approval company. All space-only exhibitors must submit the construction phase plan along with your stand plans, risk assessment, and method statement to Essential Events for approval. Failure to do so will result in build not being allowed to take place. This section outlines the rules and regulations as set out by the venue and local authority for building any type of structure, whether it be on the show floor or in a meeting room. The list here outlines all the information you need to include in your submission. It's important to note that approval must not be assumed until written approval is received from Essential Events. Details of where to send your stand plans are also listed here, along with a submission deadline. It's important to note that height restrictions for space-only stand build is 6 meters. If you decide to build to 4 meters or above, your stand will be deemed as complex and will incur an additional charge for the structural engineer approval service. Further information can be found in this section that covers regulations on building, platforms and ramps, presentation areas, and rigging. Walling in refers to closing off an open side of your stand. All open sides must remain open by 2/3 of the total run, so only 1/3 of an open side can be walled in. This section applies to exhibitors that have booked a startup pod or a startup stand. Here you will find information on what is provided as part of your startup pod, including the size of your space, graphic specs, electrics, and Wi-Fi. We also have our startup stands, which are shell schemes located across the show. This section takes you through what is included in your startup stand package. Show Ready is a simple, cost-effective, and completely sustainable solution for your space-only stand at Bett. This solution includes stand structure, seamless tension graphics, carpet, power, and lighting. All health and safety paperwork is done for you, and all project management is covered. If you have a space-only stand booking, please speak to your Bett sales representative for further information or contact us at exhibitor@bettshow.com. Our health and safety homepage sets out Hive Group's health and safety statement. At the top of the page are the key sections related to health and safety at Bett. Please read these sections carefully as they are very important to ensuring a safe event and a safe working environment. CDM is the Construction, Design and Management Regulations of 2015. This covers designing with safety at the forefront of every stage of the build. This section covers your responsibilities under this Act of Parliament. Please read this page carefully as well as each of the links here. This will open essential forms required to take part at Bett. The site induction covers all the do's and don'ts of being on site during the build and breakdown phases of the event. It provides safety guidance on personal protective equipment, working at height, what to do in the event of an accident or emergency, moving vehicles, and also provides information on the event timetable and welfare facilities. This document must be shared with all your staff working at the venue during the build and breakdown times. Next up is some information on health and safety, which is again very important to your preparation. Items of special risks are items such as steps, ramps, laser beams, smoke effects, working machinery, rigging, public participation activities, or activities that attract a crowd, for example. It's important that you notify us if you have any items of special risk on your stand, as we have a responsibility to notify the venue and the local authority 28 days prior to tenancy. Please complete the items of special risk form by clicking on the form link. This can also be found in the checklist and form section. Your method statement is the process from start to finish of how you will construct your stand. This section covers everything that should be included in your method statement. There is also a link to a method statement template should you require any help in writing this. This section explains risk assessments and guidance on completing one. It's the responsibility of every exhibitor to complete the health and safety form. It's a declaration of your intent to work to safety regulations. It's also the responsibility of every exhibitor to complete a risk assessment to cover your activities at the show. If you have a space-only stand and have not booked a show-ready package, it is your contractor's responsibility to complete a risk assessment to cover their activities throughout the time they are working on site. This section talks you through all the stages you need to consider when compiling your risk assessment. There is also some further guidance in these forms, so if you need any further help, please download these resources. The Features on Stand section covers the health and safety considerations of various items you may have on your stand. For example, batteries, which are strictly prohibited, plus items such as candles, strobe lighting, or vehicles. It's also important to read the section to understand your responsibilities regarding health and safety. Within the General Health and Safety Guidance tab, you will find further information on health and safety at Bett. It's worth paying particular attention to fire-resistant materials. This section refers to all materials used either for construction, displays, or features being fire retardant and meeting British safety standards. If you're intending to work at height, it's important you read the section on ladders. It covers the correct use of ladders for working at height. It's worth noting that ladders are not permitted to be used for work at a height of 4 meters or more. You will need to use a working platform for this. Further to this, if you're planning to work at height, it's essential that you read this section. It covers all the safety aspects of working at height. All work at height must be covered in your risk assessment. This section answers a few frequently asked questions. If you have any queries that aren't answered here, please contact us at exhibitor@bettshow.com. That's all for health and safety, so let's move on to the next item on the menu. The General Information section covers everything from accommodation and AV hire to playing music, courier services, and waste management. It is listed in alphabetical order and can be jumped to by clicking on the letter of your choice. For ease, you can also hover over each letter of the alphabet to see what's listed. Let's have a look at some sections of note. First up, we'll look at badges. All staff members must register for a badge. There will be no admission to the show during any stage of the week without a badge. This includes contractors during build and breakdown, plus any personnel attending during these times and opening of the show. Contractors need to show their badge, either digitally or printed, at the door to the halls, and this will be exchanged for a wristband to gain entry. Staff working on your stand during the open period will need to wear and show their badge at all times. Next, collection of goods. This provides information about removing your products at the end of the show. All exhibits and displays must be removed from the halls by 7 p.m. on Friday the 23rd of January for all shell scheme stands and 4 p.m. on Saturday 24th of January for all space-only stands. Any goods left in the halls after this deadline will be deemed abandoned and disposed of as rubbish. Do not leave any goods unattended before they have been picked up by your courier. We cannot be held responsible for any unattended items going missing. Please read this section carefully and take note of the timings for your collections. This section provides detail on any items you are having delivered directly to the venue, and what to do if you have items being sent from overseas. Please note the specific delivery address here, which must display your name and mobile number along with your stand number. Deliveries must be taken to your stand, so the stand number is essential for your label. Neither the venue or organisers can take delivery of your items. And finally, let's look at waste. This section gives advice on waste collection during open days, as well as disposal of rubbish at the end of build and breakdown. Please note that any waste left behind at the end of the build or breakdown period will be recorded and a disposal fee will be charged back to you per show. These charges will be invoiced directly to the exhibitor. To order bins for your stand, there is a link here to the web shop. Waste collection is an essential part of our wider ESG efforts and to ensure effective recycling and waste disposal, and we need your help to achieve that. So thank you in advance for your cooperation and contribution to our goals. This general information section contains many other useful pieces of information on different aspects of the show, so it's a great place to search for any queries you may have. Up next, venue information. This section is divided into Excel services and visiting Excel. Excel services deals with all the services provided by the venue, from the business centre to lost property. The most notable for your stand will be the internet section. All internet services are provided and ordered with Excel. To order a hardwired internet connection or Wi-Fi hotspots for your stand, please do so by going to the checklist, then the optional forms checklist, and clicking on the internet and telephone section. It's also important to note that we have a Wi-Fi policy at Bett to encourage improved Wi-Fi connectivity across the show, and there is an internet declaration form you need to submit. Let's take a look. This can be found in the compulsory form section. You will see there are 3 options. You are ordering internet via Excel, you are intending to bring your own Wi-Fi, you do not require any Wi-Fi and will not be bringing your own Wi-Fi equipment. It's essential you fill in this form, Tick the declaration boxes and submit the form. The final section to note on venue services is piped services. Piped services cover the temporary supply of gas, water and water waste. It's worth noting you will need to have a duct within the confines of your stand to enable the delivery of any of these services. All services can be ordered via the checklists and order forms section. It's worth noting that XL operates an access booking system called Voyage Control. This is for anyone needing to access the lorryway to unload the items for their stand. Voyage Control will open for bookings in January. We will notify you when it's live. If you have a few hand-carryable items to take to your stand, we advise you to park in the underground car park and access the halls via the boulevard. Parking details can be found at the top of the section. Parking can be booked online via the link here. Our navigation bar also has a page for key contacts. This page gives you the contact details for all the official contractors working at Bett. For example, Aztec, our official providers for AV equipment. Please feel free to get in touch with them to discuss your requirements and prices. There is also floral, graphics, and stand plan approval, to name a few. The FAQ section answers many of the frequently asked questions associated with exhibiting at Bett. However, if you don't find the answer you need, click on the support section. This section contains contact information for different teams that operate at the show. If you have any questions that you cannot find the answer to or would like further clarity on, please contact the relevant contact from this page. If by any chance you need to work offline, you can download a PDF version of some of the manual we have just run through. Thank you for watching. We hope this has been useful. Should you have any further questions, please do email us at exhibitor@bettshow.com.